In this lesson, we're going to look at the melody for our Task 1C project. Now, as said in the previous lesson, it's really important to get these harmony, melody and rhythm elements and the structural elements down as early as possible. And that's what I've gone for this vocal. Now, it's kind of rough. Actually, it's really rough. And it's by no means my end product. But it really helps to get these pieces down. And if it sounds a bit shabby, it's not to worry, because you're going to get an idea how the piece is working, and that's what's more important at this stage, because we're still relatively at the beginning of this stage. I know we've got probably 6 or 7 parts in now, but after putting this part in, we're really going to understand how our whole song is going to work. So the first thing I did is just looked at the score that was given by Edexcel, and you can get that on the first lesson of this course as well, but it's available from Edexcel, and it should be in your portfolio that you were given. Now, all I did initially was wrote these parts out really quickly, really shoddily, just got them in as quickly as I can, and I will share these screenshots with you just in case you're struggling with reading the score for any reason. But after putting all the notes in, and these areas here are basically everything that was in the score, okay? These are all the notes that I'm dealing with, okay, for this particular project. So after getting them in, I then started cutting them up into workable sections, and this is going to act as my kind of pasteboard, if you like. So I have this first bit, which I've highlighted in green. Then I have this second bit, and so on, all of which are highlighted. So after doing this, I then duplicate this part. So I found an instrument that I like. I duplicate this part, and then I put it over here. So let me just mute these bits here. And then from here, all I've done is I've literally just pressed the Alt button, and I've dragged this part up, let go of my mouse, let go of the Alt, and it's made me this duplicate. And then I've been able to see if that part works. And from here, I've just arranged these 4 parts into an area here. In this area, I was going to go for the same vocal as I've got in the middle section here, but I've decided that actually when it gets to this middle section here, I'm actually going to use this as kind of an instrumental section. So I'm going to chuck in another melodic instrument to play some kind of solo, just to kind of break my piece up, just to make sure that I'm keeping it interesting. And throughout this project, I'm going to try and find ways that make my piece interesting. Now, so my first mission was to break it up and find out what parts I wanted in it. This is by no means the last time, but it is useful to see if it works, okay? So break it up, work out what it is. I'm going to develop these ideas further. I'm not going to use the whole of the vocal as is, because it's not the way I want to develop my piece. I'm going to use some call and response. I'm going to use delay effects to kind of build up these rhythmic elements to the melody. I'm going to invert the melody. I'm going to turn it on its head, reverse it, all these kind of techniques to kind of find different ways of shaping that melody so that it's still recognizable as Seven Nation Army. So it's another element that I can put down in my logbook, but actually I want to show that I'm capable of using technology to shape this and go even further. But we have to start somewhere. So how I've started is it's pretty obvious, because of the way I've structured it, it's pretty obvious that the development 1, development 2, development 3 and development 4 are going to be pretty similar. So I've just started by copying these parts 4 times. Now, once again, you will have to shape these. It's pretty uninteresting as it is just to use these 4 parts as they are. I will shape them, once again, using those techniques that I just described. Then I realised, okay, I'm going to want something else. So I've got 3 parts left, and basically all I did is drop these parts in. Now, this orangey red part is, to my mind, the most uplifting part of it. So this is my chorus, if you like. So what I've done is I've just used it here, and then I've used it as the copying. This actual repeat makes it sound really good. So I'm probably going to leave the red parts as are, because it does sound really nice. Choosing an appropriate instrument is quite difficult. I've gone for some kind of funk electric piano, which is quite nice, and I've just honed in some of the frequencies. So I've shaped my, it was a clav actually, Clavinova. So I've shaped my EQ, I've pulled up my reverbs again, and the original preset that I was using was this 70s funk, and it's quite nice. But once again, you're probably going to want to find something that suits your piece just as well, or even better. I've done no articulation on these, so I've not done any pitch bends, any modulation, any portamento. I have looked at playing it in, so you've got lots of different velocity effects, and you've got the note lengths that are different all the way through, and the way that it's played has been quantized. So you know, that's something, if you're not going to play it in, you will need to look at those. And you remember from our Task 1A project, coming up to the functions, MIDI transform, and you've got these really nice one here. You've got this humanized one, which is really nice, or you've got these random velocity, and there should be one more here somewhere as well. No, I don't want random pitch, but random velocity, fine. The humanized one works really well. So if you're not going to play it in, you're going to need to do something like that. And once again, we will shape it even further, but that's really down to you to kind of work out the best thing for your arrangement and how you're going to shape them. My main mission here was just to show you how the piece is working, so that along with my chords and my melody, how is this piece working? So let's just start by soloing these two parts. Okay, so mostly uninteresting. We're going to have to do a lot of work with that vocal, but that's fine. They are working, and we know this section works. This section here just needs a little bit more. So let's just take it back to here so we can just play this bit. So maybe we could change that chord. Actually, the chords aren't working as bad as I thought. I thought I was going to get a massive issue here, and the reason for that is this here, is this D sharp note played over my chord. So if I select the chord as well, and we'll find out what chord that was meant to be. Right, sorry. There we go. So the chord, here's my, where is it? Here's my D sharp note, and that's being played over the chord of A minor. So as you can see, there's this really clashy bit here, but because it comes at the end of this chord, it's not causing me too many issues. However, if I had a bigger rhythm part here with chords, you would notice some clashy notes there that you'd have to be pretty careful of, okay? So that's how it's working. I'm pretty happy with that. Before I let you guys get on with putting your own melodies in, I just want to play this part to you just so you can hear how it's working with the actual track now, okay? So as you can hear, that's working really well. I'm just going to play this last little bit as well, just so you can hear the repeat section, and then I'm going to let you guys crack on. Okay, so as you can hear, I'm pretty pleased with that. Lots more to do on the vocals, but as far as my rough sketch goes, it's working really well. Now, one thing that I did do in choosing the sound for this is I was looking at the song Lovers on the Sun by David Guetta. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And they're using all these kind of country and western sounds, and as you can hear, that kind of plucked piano sound that the clav has given me is kind of emulating that. So it might be worth, as well as using one reference track, also using a second. So my main reference track is Pump Up the Volume, but now I'm kind of referring to this David Guetta song a little bit as well, just to kind of pull out a few different elements. Okay, that's enough said for that. Good luck with putting in the vocal part. Hopefully you've got the rhythms all sorted now, and hopefully you've got the melody and the harmonies in, and I'll see you in the next lesson.